What's my perspective on the news that I saw recently when it comes to Zebec? Nothing I say is financial advice. However, the Zebec cards not too long ago announced that the Boba Network card basically is now live. Now, what do I think about this? Well, I think it's pretty interesting to me because when I take a look at Boba, I mean, it's spelled like boba tea. Like, okay. But yeah, besides that point, Boba is a layer 2 in this case. A layer 2, when it comes to the case of Ethereum, people like to say, well, why even care about this? Doesn't Zebec have an aspect of Solana? But we have to think about this. Ethereum is literally one of the most recognizable layer 1 blockchains of all time. So why is having a layer 2 for something like that and then having that project, have basically a partnership with the Zebec cards or something like that? Why would that be a bad thing? You know what I mean? But besides that, I want to explain kind of the role of a layer 2, especially in the case of Ethereum. Now, basically, if I take a look at Ethereum, as popular as it is as a layer 1 blockchain, what are some of the known drawbacks, right? Like, for instance, the gas fees that a lot of people are not a fan of. And also on top of that, I take a look at the often reported, or should I say alleged, scalability issues. So when I take a look at something like that, it's not as perfect, right? But I don't think there's a perfect layer 1 blockchain either, so it's not even a big problem, but I'm saying. But at least at the same time, if a layer 2 comes along and allows Ethereum to quite essentially be enjoyed without dealing with some of those drawbacks, why is that such a bad thing? You know what I mean? So that's kind of like the role of a layer 2. There's many layer 2s though, granted, right? There's Arbitrum and all this type of stuff. There's just a lot of layer 2s. But at least at the same time, when I take a look at something like in the case of, Boba, at least it's pretty popular to me from what I can see. And also, if they're doing something with Zebec, even though they're not the most popular layer 2 out there, I don't think it's such a bad thing. Actually, fun fact, right? Just a thing I just kind of want to talk about real quick is that Onyx, which is the closest competitor when it comes to Zebec, it's actually built on Arbitrum, and Arbitrum is another layer 2. But yeah, besides that point, when I take a look at something like, again, Zebec, my kind of perception is that I find it pretty interesting that when it comes to what they're doing, it doesn't feel like it's limited, right? Because some other projects out there, they only want to partner with certain projects and the rest they don't care. But Zebec, they're doing things with memes, with something like this as well. They're doing it with like other projects too. So really in the grand scheme of things, what I like about the Zebec cards is that they're focused on the diversity, and I do kind of like that. Not to mention, when I take a look at ZBCN, people have to tell me, well, it's still around 32 times lower than 10 cents though. Who cares? Well, it's not only just about that, right? Because sometimes my perception is that we have to kind of consider what is a project doing at a time when the price isn't doing the best. Are they still doing things fundamentally? Are they still updating? Are they still, caring about the project? If they're not, then it's kind of sometimes not such a good sign, personally, in my perspective, because why are they only giving up when things are not doing good, but then when things are doing okay, they update again? How does that make sense? That means they don't really care about it in the long term. They only care about it if it's doing good. But it's easy to care about things when they're doing good, right? The difficult part is still persevering when things are not doing so good, So this is why when I take a look at Zebec, I like what they seem to be doing. And especially with their updated tokenomics and all this type of stuff that I talked about in my previous video, I do find it pretty interesting that, again, they're at least looking to improve overall as a project. Sure, 10 cents, considering current circulating supply, market cap would be around 9.7 billion. But, remember in the last video I made, or one of the last videos, let me correct myself there when it comes to ZBCN, about the updated tokenomics. Remember what they were talking about in terms of reacquiring some ZBCN? You know what I mean? From the revenue that they were going to get from the Zebec programs or whatever. Imagine if, like, the Zebec programs start doing pretty good and they start having this revenue to be able to acquire some ZBCN or something like that. In theory, the circulating supply would be reduced over time, right? Would it be a lot? I mean, who knows? Like, it's very ambiguous. Like, how can I control whether or not it does good, right? But at least, if it's just decreasing a little bit by a little bit, circulating supply decreases, in theory, 10 cents, market cap considering current circulating supply, it just wouldn't be needed that massive, or should I say wouldn't need that much of a market cap, just because if there's less circulating supply, right, in theory, ZBCN would need less of a market cap in order to hypothetically have 10 cents. But yeah, that's beyond the point, though. I just wanted to make this video real quick talking about what Zebec did quite recently. I'm still waiting and seeing what could happen, but I'm still holding. I'm not giving up when it comes to Zebec. But in the meantime, though, I just wanted to make this video kind of highlighting my perspective as to what I think about this recent news or this recent update, I would like to say, when it comes to Zebec. And yeah, I feel like, I'll just wait and see what happens. But if they have more updates, if they have more news that comes out, I'll hopefully make more videos when it comes to that. So thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a very nice day. It's Mali the Captain.